Alright, welcome back to Baja Talks Books. We're a little confused on the chapters. I was re-listening to our previous chapters, and pretty much every time we said we were going to do chapter 18 over the last 3 episodes, and we did not do chapter 18 over any of them. So this time we're starting with chapter 18.
Yeah.
And I'll just say whatever chapter we finish on later and then edit that in here because I don't know how much we're going to get done. Because every time I say a specific set of chapters and it turns out we don't do those specific set of chapters because we get distracted by Full Metal Alchemist in the middle.
Bear just really gets off to disappointing people.
Yeah, it's my favorite. All right. Yeah, so starting with chapter 18, we're jumping straight into Dilaf getting a heart attack. Which I know last episode I was listening to it and you were like, wow, I wonder who the Elantris he's going to get will be.
Yeah.
Were you surprised that it wasn't Raiden?
I really thought it was going to be. I was like, well, I wonder if it's going to be our special little boy. But no, it wasn't. And I was kind of surprised by that.
I mean, considering what happens to this Elantris, I feel like the book would have ended pretty quickly if it had been Raiden.
I'm sure he would have been fine. He's a special little boy.
He would have pulled something out of his big floppy asshole, dude. He would have
been like, but you don't understand. I'm the
How
prince.
can it be flappy?
Well, I mean, it's rotting, so I mean, it's probably gotten loose.
Yeah, Dilaf walks in and sees the Harathan has an Elantris with him, and he's just like, holy mother of... I don't know what the equivalent in Elantris would be.
Holy Chudera.
Heals Hrogith Jaw, which...
Hrogith Jaw?
Hrogith Jaw. I don't know what that means.
That means I hope Rothan gives me that jaw.
Rothan, please, I need it.
They ask him, does he use the condom? And no, he goes, no, I go in, hurrah, then. All right, bad jokes aside, moving on. Yeah, so they've got an Elantris in there, and Rathan is like, say hello to Dyren.
Say hello to my little friend.
Say hello to my little friend. And, apparently that's Lord Jadith's name. Hrogith Jaw.
That's a weird-ass name. Why not just call him Jadith?
Bro, your name is Patrick. You cannot be complaining about names. And then I like this section because he's like, can you not use Lord Jadith's name as a curse? And he's like, I'm Elantrian. Rathan's like, yes, very good, Art. It isn't me like, no, you may not set him on fire. And Dilaf is just like absolutely cooked. Just he is just consumed by hatred at this point. And eventually he's like, what is he doing here, my Rodin? He's still doing tricks on it even while he's angry. Which, honestly, I feel like that's the best time for him to be doing tricks on it. Because then you get, that... You know what I'm talking about? Like, that kind of...
Bro.
Like, when it's all angry and, like...
If they made Elantris a movie, they should, cast... Kanye as Dilaf, and then the Elantrians are Jews.
Bro, that'd be so real. This is topical.
I had no idea where you were going with that, but that was phenomenal, Dilaf just really has that hate in his heart. He doesn't dislike them.
He's a hater. Them. I respect it. He's
absolutely
a D1
would
hater.
Be a Nazi. He would be he would be part of the Third Reich.
If he could die and in exchange all these people die too, he would.
It'd be really funny if he got the Sheod.
That'd be so
and
funny.
Became an Elantrian.
It'd be so funny.
He'd be like, I don't know what to do. Where do I go from here?
No, he'd probably just kill himself. He'd be like, I'm sorry, God.
He wouldn't be able to die, though.
He would try.
Eventually.
He'd probably be like, I'm sorry, God. Please forgive me. I will now jump off this building and break both of my legs.
That'd be really funny.
Yeah.
I mean, until he broke both his legs, and it'd be like, ow, ow, ow. This hurts, ow,
then
ow.
Then he'd be in pain for the rest of his life.
It'd be less funny once your legs are being eternally broken over and over again.
Yeah, until our special little boy comes along, and then he fixes everything like he's definitely going to do.
Yeah. So he's like, Are they all bald, Dilaf? And he's all interested because he has like a weird kink thing about like bald people and like slapping it down on their, oiled up like bald heads. Like,
why do you always make him why do you make everyone into this book into just freaky?
Are you telling me they aren't? That old dude was like, well, I gotta make them work for their money.
That's the exception, and I don't even think that's freaky. I think that's just a regular amount of being an old man.
What old men are you talking to?
I'm not... if I saw that, I wouldn't be like, whoa, that's way out of the ordinary. That is unusual.
It says Hrathen reached out, feeling the man's cheek. The skin was tough and leathery.
Which cheek? Hold on.
Yeah, he's getting down to business. He's like, all right, turn him around, Ardith. What? You heard me.
Spread him.
We can't set him on fire yet, but the friction's going to make it happen eventually.
Let me see them cheeks.
Yeah. And so then he's like quizzing Dilaf, and eventually mentions there's universities in Svorden, and he knew of bodies they kept there for study. I wonder why he knows that. And then Dilaf's like, oh, very similar. The skin isn't the only sign, my Hrodin. Their insides are rotten as well. Yeah, so Dilaf spills his wisdom, and he's like, their hearts do not beat. There are stories from the early days, 10 years ago. Within a few months, they turned comatose, barely able to move barely able to move, except to bemoan their pain. And he's like, pain? What? I know a thing or two about that. I'm a little edgy boy myself. And Dilaf is like, the pain of their soul being burned by Lord Jadis fire. I like how it says Dilaf explained, like he didn't just drop like a biblical verse on him.
Yeah.
He's like, well, the pain of their soul being burned by Lord Jadis fire. Like, you should know this.
Yeah. like he means it in the truly most literal sense possible. Like, not figuratively. He means it in the most literal way. Like,
this is just how he thinks. Like, he doesn't even think normally. He just thinks in Bible verses. Do you think Dilaf is autism coded?
What? Are you saying that the guy who's a super like religious zealot and has a like clinical obsession with these people, maybe he's a little bit autistic?
Just a little bit.
No, never.
Okay, wait, speaking of casting, I know you were a joke, but people do a lot of like fan casting. Who do you think would play these characters in a live action movie?
For Elantris?
Yeah. Because Loki, I can see like Danny DeVito doing a really good Dilaf.
Yeah. I feel like they would go like Tom Holland for
No,
I feel like that would be a good
actually,
fit,
that would kind of work.
Anya Taylor-Joy as...
Because that is the actual character that Tom
Serena.
Holland plays all the time.
Yeah.
That would actually, I could actually see that.
Donald Glover as Paladon.
That would be really
Wait, who would
funny.
be Hunky J? Jack Black.
No.
Yeah, I think either Jack Black or it also
No,
really fine to have
who's
like
the guy
John
who plays...
Cena.
John Cena would actually be awesome.
See, he just reminds me of John Cena with a beard. Or like, they just make him The Rock. They
That's
just
what
go,
I was
you know
thinking.
what? He's just The Rock. Or I feel like he'd do a really good... Who's the guy who plays the Baron in Dune? I'm blanking on the name.
Stellan Skarsgård.
Stellan Skarsgård, yeah. I feel like he could do a really good job.
Hunky K.
I feel like
where's my present?
He'd be way like older looking though. I feel like
who would play Rothan?
Hrothin?
Yeah.
Who's the guy in The Order who did like the...
I don't watch the order.
Yes, you did. You
did.
watched it with me. It's the one we
Oh
once saw.
yeah, we did watch that.
The, like,
Maybe Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin, I could see doing a really good job actually. The one guy, I recognized him from another...
The one guy who's in like everything.
Yeah.
I know the dude.
Patrick would probably recognize him if he saw him. He was in another movie that we all went and watched recently.
He looks like an Until Dawn dude.
Remy Malek would actually go pretty hard. I can see that.
Rothan.
Maybe not Rothan. He's a little too hysteric for that. Oh yeah, that guy, Nicholas Hoft. What else is he?
Oh,
in?
he was in. What just came out?
We watched it, and he was in it, and then we saw him.
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu, that's what it was. Yeah, I feel like he would do a really good Rothan. he kind of has that like
Yeah.
like I get like gothic vibes from Crothin, especially with the armor and stuff. He can low-key pull that off.
And like, what if King, what was his king name?
King Idan.
Idon would be like Adam Sandler or something.
I would really like that.
That would be really funny.
Like,
No, it's just an Adam Sandler movie, so he has all his actor friends. So it's like Steve Buscemi and like John. What was not the guy that
Jon Favreau.
not John Favreau, the big Ken. No.
Who's the guy from
Paul Blart. Paul Blart, that guy.
yeah.
They make him.
What's his name? Kevin James.
Kevin James, yeah.
But I would really like I just imagine them like walking into like the bedchamber, like when they're sneaking into the castle. And I'm just sprawled out on the bed, snoring loudly. But
Wait, who's they make Raiden Jonah Hill. That'd be really funny.
Pretty funny.
He would not fit at all, but that would be really
And
funny.
then just have Galadon like Channing Tatum, bro.
it's so funny if they just made an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, that'd be
Like
just,
Adam Sandler's just like, I read this book and I really like
He's
it.
just Seth Rogen.
he's just Seth Rogen. That's crazy. No, they make him Mark Wahlberg. Y'all need a pilot. Truly one of the greatest slogans ever made. Mark Wahlberg is my absolute favorite. Just if I was on the 9/11 plane, it wouldn't have happened because I would have stopped them.
So, because something I just recently learned about him, apparently he's like super religious.
oh yeah,
Yeah, he's like real religious.
he
has,
beat up a monk that
like-
one time.
I didn't know about that, but like he founded or he helped found an app that's just like a prayer app where you pray.
Celebrities do it. Celebrity does.
Yeah, but it's just like, and apparently every single Sunday for the last,
Oh wait,
like,
you make Horathe and Jared Leto.
Yes.
But like apparently every Sunday for the past like multiple years, he's posted like a video about like, yeah, stay prayed up, guys. Like every Sunday, every single Sunday. And it's just like, dang, yeah, I would not have just thought that he's just like extremely religious.
No. Rothan would be Chris Pratt. 'Cause Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt, yeah.
He's super Christian. That'd
Wait,
be
Chris
awesome.
Pratt is also super Christian?
He's super
Yeah.
Christian, yeah.
Super Christian.
What if we made Chris Pratt deal off?
I feel like Jared Leto could actually do a good deal off.
Yeah.
feel like he
That'd be
could.
awesome.
I mean, crazy maniacal, cultist. Crazy maniacal cultist.
Yeah, he just is that person.
He literally just is. That's one of the reasons why I like his role in Blade Runner so much. Is because he's supposed to be like this crazy, weird cult leader dude, and
he's
he
not
is just a
acting.
crazy, weird cult leader dude. It's so funny to me that he showed up on set with like blinders over his eyes and just had people help him around so he could like do his method acting thing.
Yeah. What a weird little man.
In Suicide Squad, he method acted by sending his coworkers like dead rats and stuff.
Yeah.
Truly one of the legends of our time. He's pretty good in
Yeah, I have no idea what you're going to say.
Requiem
Requiem
for a Dream. He's really good in that.
I have not
That's
seen
probably the only movie I've seen him in where I was like, wow, this dude can act. Because all the actors did a really good job. Who's the other one in that? Is it Margaret Qualley? No, it's not.
in Requiem for a Dream?
it's
No.
the girl
She would have
who's-
been like 6.
It's the girl who
His girlfriend?
no. Oh, the girlfriend in that movie. I know her from a really, really old YouTube video that me and Will have talked about. With After Dark by Mr. Kitty playing in the background. And it's a scene from that one movie she's in where she's dancing with that one guy inside the shopping mall. And it's from like Job. What's it called? Like Odd Jobs or something.
I have
Dang,
no idea
who
what
is
you're
it?
talking about.
Who is it?
This isn't even vaguely familiar.
It's one like hyper specific YouTube video that's just a scene from that movie, and then After Dark by Mr. Kitty in the background from like 2005 YouTube. That's like one of the who is it? She's really famous. Who is it? Requiem. I need to know this because every time anybody brings this up, I can't remember. Jennifer Connelly. That's who it is.
I recognize that name.
What was she in? Oh, Career Opportunities. That's what it was. Jeez, I'm
It'd be
stupid.
really funny if we only end up doing chapter 18.
Yeah. The girlfriend or whatever. I don't know if you recognize her, but...
Like, just someone just tunes in, just, oh boy, I sure hope that they do chapter 18 today, finally. And then they get on and we only do chapter 18 and nothing else.
I listen to a couple podcasts that do this like exact same format, and a lot of times the funniest parts are when they're just yakking about something random. So
Wouldn't know. Don't listen to podcasts.
yes, you do.
I listen to very few podcasts.
That's not no podcast.
My
Yeah. So Dilaf is going kind of crazy with the Elantrian still in the room. So Rathan is like, "Okay, we're cutting this short. You're dismissed. Anyway, bye-bye." And Dilaf leaves, and then he starts talking to the Elantrian, and he's asking him questions about like, "Hey, do you guys have food in there? Why are you so hungry? What were you before you got thrown into the city?" And the Elantrian's being kind of cool, which is interesting because Rathan's supposed to like hate these guys, but he's being pretty nice to this dude.
Well, because when he talks about it, he doesn't actually hate them. He's just kind of using them,
Yeah.
like, for the religion, but he doesn't really hate them. If there was a different way to do it, I'm sure he would.
And I don't know, he even recognizes, like, while he's talking to this guy, that Durin is telling him, oh, there's gangs, and if you go to the wrong place, they'll, like, chase you and hurt you. And he's even like, gangs, that implies, like, basic society and all that kind of stuff.
But I think it'd also be really funny if he's just like, yeah, there's also this really cool guy there. This really cool guy who I think's going to change everything.
I mean, doesn't he mention there's... Oh, yeah, he says, and there's a new gang now. A fourth gang, more powerful than the others. Like, he literally mentions the gang.
It just started, like, a week ago.
Yeah, like, it just started a week. I think it's less than that. It was, like, a couple days or something.
Yeah, so in the span of a couple days, he's like, whoa, this gang is crazy, dog.
And then we get this absolute banger line. The captain of the Elantris City Guard entered obsequiously. I am very, very confused as to what that means. I know a lot of big words, and that is not one of them. But I'd assume it means, like, pompously or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think I know what that word means, actually.
Obsequiously. I need to look that up.
Because I would assume that it's similar to, like, obscene, but, like...
But you wouldn't enter obscenely.
Yeah, that wouldn't make sense.
Also, that wouldn't make sense in context. What is this word? Full of or exhibiting servile compliance.
Servile compliance.
So, like, fawning and, like, being submissive and obedient and yielding.
Submissive? Breedable, perhaps?
Of course, that's what he jumps to. Yep. Submissive and breedable.
Dog, you know what I am.
The captain of the Elantris City Guard entered submissively and breedably. He wore thick gloves, and he prodded the Elantrian out of his chair with his stick.
He entered in like a little twink that he was.
Yeah, and then the Artith comes back as the dude's leaving, and is like, just watching him leave, looking kind of hungry, and Hrathan's like, no, you can't have sex with the Elantrian. Dillas like, what?
What? No, I wasn't going to do that.
I wanted to burn it. And
I love how many of like their conversations are just Dilloff just going, I hate these Elantrians. Yeah. Him going, dude, calm down a little bit. Calm down a little bit.
Every time he's on screen, it's just the Elantrians all need to die. I hate them.
Like, because I don't know if he calls them by slurs. I don't remember any slurs that he uses, but I feel like he would use slurs if he had the chance.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Mm-hmm. And then we get some kind of background on Hrathan's plan, where he basically just... I like how he's telling all this to Dilaf. He's like, oh, well, let's not forget, Arteth. There is a point to our hatred. It unifies our followers and gives them a common enemy. And then once we have the people, we give them something to hate. We can use this as an association between Elantris and our rivals. And Dilaf is like, Shu Korath with a sinister smile. Like, this is a very spell it out for the reader moment because Hrathen's like, we need it to be between Elantris and our rivals, and people will, hate our rivals, and they'll, our rivals, our rivals. Dilaf, can you tell them who our rivals are with a sinister, evil smile? That, hey, our rivals. Do you think they know who our rivals are? And Dilaf's like, Shukora.
Do you know the guys that we don't like?
Yeah, like, it really just feels like a spell it out moment. And then he's like, again, correct. You'll be glazing it. And then
I do love how they're like so nice when they're talking to him, and then they just are like, yeah, we're gonna kind of burn you alive now. Anyway, can't leave witnesses.
to be fair, Hrathen didn't want that to happen. Dilaf kind of just forced him to do that.
Yeah, because they end up torturing him a little bit, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're going through, and Hrathen's just kind of spelling out his entire plan to Dilaf, and Dilaf is like, it is perfect! I'm bouncing on it! And Hrathen's like, oh, wait a second. How does this dude know the deadline? Hold on a second. He must be, like, guessing, because Dilaf is bouncing up and down on it, and then he's like, but will it happen quickly enough? There's so little time. And Hrathen's like, hold up. Get free Wi-Fi anywhere you go.
So little time to what?
And Hrathen's like, nah, he must be guessing. It will work. Just watch. Shu Dareth will be like a rock
Surely this
amid
is just a
sifting
coincidence
sands.
and has nothing to do with the future.
And he brings out the Shu Dareth will be like a rock amidst the shifting sands. And Hrathen, he's absolutely giving these back shots to Dilaf because Dilaf is like, a fine analogy, my Rodin. You are cooking. And then
I don't know if Dilaf's gay, but
he's
I feel
definitely
like he would make an exception for Hrathen.
yeah, he is glazing. And they decide tonight's the night. Tonight we're turning everyone against Shu Korath. And then he sends him off, and the sermon starts. And I guess we kind of fast forward to where the sermon starts. And Dilaf's up there. He's absolutely jumping up and down. Like, the energy I get from this is like an XXX Tentacion concert, except everyone is like watching as XXX Tentacion beats his girlfriend, who also happens to be pregnant. That happened.
Wait, what?
Yeah. yeah. XXX Tentacion did in fact beat his pregnant girlfriend.
Nice.
Yeah. I know you somewhere. Somehow.
Like, I know this. Did he have like a reason
I
for
beat
it?
my pregnant girlfriend and then died.
Like, did he have a reason for it, or was he just like, I'm kind of bored?
No, he was just abusive.
Okay.
Yeah. Which makes it funny every time I see a post about him, and all the people in the comments are like, R.I.P., R.I.P.
Gone too soon. He should have been alive for longer so he could beat his girlfriend more.
Yeah. Everyone's like, yeah,
He
R.I.P.
had so many children to beat out of her.
Or I'll see those posts that like put him with like angel wings and stuff walking up the stairs, and all the comments are like, nah, he's going down, bro. He's not going up.
Yeah, dang, I didn't realize that he was that bad.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he kind of deserved it. And then I'll see those posts now of him being like, what's that? What's a father? I'm like, okay, this dude was always just corny. Like, I thought it was just his fans and stuff, but no, he was just a corny, awful person.
Corny and a bad person? Dang.
Yeah, that really cooks you. I don't
You don't condone
I don't
beating
condone
people.
any of that, by the way. Anyway, our Hrathen's watching Dilaf absolutely work it, and Dilaf's going crazy up there. He's causing a second rapture, or I guess it'd be the first one for them. Or the rapture hasn't happened yet.
You don't know. I think that it actually did happen, but only like 4 people actually got raptured. The rest of us are just stuck here.
That would be a blow. Why does that feel like a Family Guy joke?
I don't know. It probably is.
Like, the rapture is here, and then Jesus just popping up. Hey, you 4 come with me, and then they disappear. And Peter
what
goes,
about my family? No.
He shows up again? No.
I don't know. I do think The Simpsons made a joke about that, where like Homer was convinced that like the second coming was happening, but no one else believed him. And then God's like, "Yep, just you, Homer. You're the only one who gets to go to heaven."
Yeah, that's.
And he's like, "No, but what about Marge? What about my family?"
I'm sure there was a Family Guy joke about there too. Yeah. Family Guy's just made a joke about everything at this point.
I mean, they've been around forever.
It just keeps going.
Dang. Just like D-Law. I just keep going.
He just keep going. With that amazing segue, we're back in the book. And it's funny because all the people are watching Dilaf, and Hrathen's like, he's kind of jealous, bro, because he be spending hours on his sermon, trying to make these reinforced points with originality to provide excitement. And Dilaf's just up there like yelling and spouting slurs.
I hate them. We should kill them.
And Hrathen's kind of patting himself on the back. He's like, I did a pretty good job. Like, this is my boy. I'm just that good. I can find all the right people.
He's just saying all these slurs, and he's like, wow, just like I taught him to.
Just like I taught him.
He has that hate in his heart.
Hrathen's all, the man's rage was like a river Hrathen himself had diverted toward the crowd. Dilaf might have raw talent, but Hrathen was the master behind it. He told himself that right up into the moment Dilaf surprised him. And yeah, Dilaf pulls out boom shakalaka kaka.
He pulls out his 9mm.
Yeah, just starts shooting people. He pulls out that blicky on him. I feel like Dilaf would definitely partake in an Elantrian drive-by. like they pull up to Elantris
in the
whip.
Kill them. What are they gonna do?
They're already dead, kind of.
Let's go and shoot them.
Yeah, and so Hrathen's like kind of spaced out. And then Dilaf is like, behold, the Svarkis. Look into its eyes and find form for your hate. Feed the outrage of Jaddeth that burns within you all. I'd be hyped too if I was hearing that. Like, I'd be like, yo, this is some biblical stuff, bro. Like, this is straight out of the New Testament. Like, I am absolutely like, I'm just rolling with him at this point. Like, this dude knows what he's talking about. Like, this is how that one megachurch pastor felt when Felicia was watching him like exorcise demons and stuff. Like she was probably like, wow, this dude is cooking.
And he's just like, yes, I am cooking.
And meanwhile, the people were just like, we do not get paid enough for this, as they get like doused down with holy water or whatever. I feel like the best way to make holy water.
It'd be really funny if one time like they're doing that, and then one time like one of the guys actually is a demon and he starts just bursting into flames. And he's just like, whoa,
this is all a joke. Calm down, buddy. Get out of here. Or like he's doing it, and then someone pulls out a mirror and he looks in his own face right as he does it, and then bursts into flames.
I do also think it'd be really funny if someone was like pulling a long con and they got hired to be one of the demons, so they run up there and they actually like stab him.
Dilaf loves Elantrians. It's getting kind of kinky in here. He's got this guy like tied to a post with cuts all over him, and he's got him all ready to. I don't think we can say it on his podcast actually, but Dilaf's a freaky little dude. Like I feel like the Zealots always be the freakiest. Dilaf is like. Apparently he's pretty learned because he's like, look, see, he does not bleed. No blood runs through his veins and no heart beats in his chest. Did not the philosopher Gronkest say that you can judge the equality of all men by their common unity of blood? And it's like, okay, Dilaf, I guess, reads philosophy. Like, also, what kind of name is Gronkest? Yeah. And they're like, demon, devil, Svarkis, free India, young boy, raw.
Yeah, and they're all just like, let's kill him. Let's kill him right now. Let's all participate in killing this man right now.
Let's lynch him. And then...
let's break all of his bones individually, one by one.
And Hrathen notices that, wait a second, this dude's not lucid anymore because of all the pain. I mean, Hrathen doesn't know it's because of the pain, but... now he realizes, like, oh, shoot. And the Elantrin's like, destroy me! End the pain! Destroy me! Which was me on the toilet before coming here.
Yeah, he was, like, half hour late to the time that he said to show up.
Yeah. So Hrathen kind of realizes, like, wait a second. We can't let this become, like, a lynch mob because that's not good. And he's thinking about them, like, burning Elantris down. And at that point, Idom would just probably kick them out or kill them because once you start a mob, you're kind of responsible for it.
Yeah, I don't think the king would be too jazzed about an angry mob.
Though, to be fair, he doesn't like Elantris much. But I
Yeah.
guess if you've got a mob started, like the chances that a mob of peasants and stuff start killing nobility that's pretty high. Like at that point, I doubt they care much about who they're killing as long as they're killing someone.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, standard witch hunt activities. And
Who
Dilaf
else
is like,
hunting the witches?
they must be destroyed, all of them, cleansed by holy fire. Yeah, and Hrathen leaps up and he's like, and so they shall be cleansed with holy fire, but like, cool it a minute, like not yet. Holy fire, but like not yet. And Dilaf is like, all right, we're burning him anyway. And he's like, all right, go burn him. And he sends a dude to burn him.
He's like, dog, first, let me do tricks on it.
Let me do tricks on it. Woo, woo. My weeby goes boing, boing, boing. And Hrathen like locks eyes with him and he's like, uh. The W really soft. Dilaf is tweaking out, and Hrathen's like, no, I gotta stop this. And so he starts calming the crowd down, and he takes the torch, and he just kind of makes the crowd do jumping jacks. He's thrusting it upward repeatedly, and they're like jumping with him, and in between the jumps, he's like, I ask you people, what good would killing this creature do? And they're like, it's a demon. And he's like, yeah, but like, they're already tormented. Listen to it pleading for death. Is that what we want to give it? Give it what it wants? And they're like, yes?
No.
They're like, wait a second. He's
They're
right.
like-
It's a demon. So why would we want to give it what
They're
it
like,
wants?
I'm confused.
yeah,
You have given me a conundrum, and I am incapable of processing it.
yeah. And he kind of uses that, and he starts yakking about the Karathi priests. They would give you pity and wonder why Arlon is so poor compared to the nations of the East, which nobody said anything about that, but okay. And then
pussy, the pussy.
the bussy. And then he realizes that, okay, they're kind of cooling down now, so I can kind of chill it. And eventually it comes to an end, and Dilaf is still pretty angry, and Hrathen's like turning toward him, and he's like, where is it? Hrathen finally realizes, wait a second, I can't let this dude continue to mess up every single plan I make. So he's like, we need to speak, collect the creature, and meet me in the gardens. And then it cuts to the Elantrian being burned, and Dilaf is just kind of sitting there absolutely jerking it. Dilaf is just busting nuts left and right. And Hrathen's just kind of sad watching this dude be burned alive. Or I guess not really burned alive, but burned half alive.
Yeah.
And feels guilty because he told this dude that he could go back with some food to the city and be fine.
Yeah.
And then he has a little conversation with Dilaf where Dilaf is really like, oh yeah, this is my favorite. I love this. The burning fire of Jadis displeasure so cleans them. Woohoo! I'm like stroking my rod to this. Yeah, Dilaf is really just leaning into it. He enjoys watching them burn. And Hrathen's like, bro, like either it's Jadis' fault or like my fault. So which is it? And Dilaf is like, okay, you got me there. Next time. Goodbye. Where is it? Yeah.
He's like, oh, I can't dishonor our god, but also,
Yeah.
if I say it's your fault, you might not let me hit.
Because Hrathen's like, you just told me that killing this Elantrian was fated by Jadis. You were simply following Jadis' fate by forcing my hand. Which is it, bro? And Dilaf is like, all right,
know.
you got me this time. And he leaves. And Hrathen's like, you know what? I got to do something about this guy. And the man's willful acceptance of immolation brought memories to Hrathen's mind. Memories he had memories he had long tried to banish. Images of pain, of sacrifice, of death. Memories of. Did you say underarm slopper?
Yeah.
Mr. Slopper.
Mr.
Never
Slopper.
mind.
And memories of Dakor. And then he turns and walks away. And it's a pretty epic moment. He turns his back on the charred bones and walks towards the chapel.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I bet he felt so cool doing that.
he probably felt really cool doing that.
He's like, I feel bad, but that was pretty cool.
Quite literally, like, dude walks away from explosion moment, except it's a bunch of...
Except it's just a dude who did nothing wrong being burned alive.
Yeah. And the dude who didn't really want him to be burned alive and now feels bad about it. So it's not quite as, like, cool, badass moment, but...
He just kind of goes, oopsie, I'm just a girl.
And then it cuts to Hrathen talking to the Sion, and Dilloff was right. Time was very scarce. 14 days had already passed since his arrival in Erelon. He had spent a week traveling before that. Only 70 days remained of his original allotment. So they got 70 days left before, the Crusades start happening and everyone dies or something.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they'll be fine at the pace that everything is going, because it's been like every time it's just like, anyway, this huge event happened. It's been 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, everything is simultaneously happening at exactly the same time.
Yeah. And we get an interesting note that Wern didn't care if Hrathen converted the masses or not, as long as the nobility bowed. So, I mean, we kind of get some more context for this in a second when he's talking to this dude Fortin about how they, like, converted, air quotes, but they don't really, like, practice it necessarily. So, I mean, I guess it's kind of like Catholicism and stuff. Like, as long as you practice it, like, that's good enough for them. And he calls this dude, and I think it's funny that Fortin just kind of thinks that, like, he prays to Jadeth, and then Jadeth, like, is like a phone messenger up there. He, like, contacts him through the Sion.
Hey, God, how's it going? Going pretty good.
How about you? Can you like link me up with this homie real quick? Yeah, I got you.
You converted all those dudes yet?
Nah, I'm working on it. All right, well, here, let me find here it is. All right, I'm putting you in touch. Just wait for the dial tone and
It's just funny because in this one, like, God just kind of seems like a dude. Like it's not even like an extra holy being where he talks very powerfully and he's like, oh, thank you, God. Like, it's just kind of like a, hey, dude.
I mean, they kind of just treat him like Jesus. Like, he comes across a lot like Jesus is treated in Catholicism and stuff.
It's just kind of funny just how regular he seems.
Yeah, they haven't
everybody
mentioned whether or
talks
not
about
he has, like, supernatural powers or anything. He's just a dude that lives underneath a rock somewhere.
Yeah. But it is just, it's real funny to me, like, all these people talking about him, and he's just like, yeah, I know that dude. I talked to him.
Yeah, no, you're thinking about Viking Pope.
I'm getting mixed up.
Wern is the Pope, and then Jadeth is, like, the god, but they don't mention Jadeth, like, necessarily having any powers. He's just a dude underneath a rock somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, and even Viking Pope, they just kind of talk about him like, you're calling him up on your cell phone, which, to be fair, I'm sure, like, people talk about the Pope the same way, like, he's got the Pope mobile. He likes Undertale. That's a deep cut reference. Matt Pat giving the Pope Undertale.
You're not going to go over this lore
and
again.
Then the Pope played he played Megalovania, like, later at one of his events. So funny. And they kind of mentioned that Fortin is where does it say where it was? Yeah, so Fortin is considered Derethi, but he's not actually Derethi. He is from Hrovel, which is a smaller Fjordell country. And this dude, he be smoking. Like, this is your stoner character. This is Diego in book form. And he's kind of coughing and talking to Hrathen. And Hrathen's like, I have need of one of your elixirs. This is totally drug dealer activity right here. And Hrathen's like, I shouldn't really be doing this because this dude's kind of a heretic. He's a devout follower of the mysteries, a degenerate form of the Jesker religion. And, where is it? Yeah, many of the peasants attended their Derethi services with devotion, then took part in their midnight mystery ceremonies with equal devotion. And this Fortin dude, he's the town mystic. So Fortin's like the guy who cooks up the potions, poisons, and elixirs. He reminds me of that one character from Harry Potter. What's her face?
I don't know. You are asking the wrong person.
I envision him as Snape in my mind. I don't know why I said what's her face. Yeah, Hurricana's talking to this dude, and he says he needs 2 formulas, 2 elixirs. He's like, I need at least 2 doses. I will pay you the standard price. My true payment is the knowledge I have served Lord Jadeth. And Hurricana's like, bruh. Okay, whatever you say, buddy. I know you don't really like care about this and you're kind of a guy for the mysteries, but sure, whatever. As long as I don't have to pay, I'm cool. And he's like, I need it immediately. And Fortin's like, I guess I'll take a bit, but I'll try it. My lord has finally decided to convert those heathens. Wow, just everyone's racist.
Yeah.
Literally everyone is. I don't think we met a single character that was not racist.
Every time we go see Serene, it's like, why is there this girl in my racism book?
She's also pretty racist.
Is she?
Didn't she make several comments about like how much she hates like the Scottish people or whatever? Or like she'll be like, ugh, Gorns and whatever. I don't know. Maybe she is not racist, but
I don't know. I mean,
she definitely.
She does have some like, oh, that's weird. I feel like that's more of like.
Oh, she's sexist.
Stuff.
That's what it is.
Oh,
and
yeah.
She's constantly like,
women, yep.
haha, that fat lady.
All these
she's
women
so
are
large.
stupid, except for me. I'm the exception.
Yeah.
I'm the only woman here who has any intelligence, because all women are dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, she's sexist and everyone else is racist.
Yeah.
This might be real life, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, this might be actually pretty accurate. Yeah, but Fortin is like, I'll give them to you in like 2 weeks or something. I'll work on them like ASAP. A true follower of Jadeth will do anything to bring about his empire. And Raisin's like, well, at least he knows like our doctrine. And yeah, this is where Fortin's like, is there anything else, my lord, that I can do for you? And he's like, no, get back to work and send the potions as quickly as possible. And Fortin's like, yes, my lord, I'll get started immediately. Feel free to pray to me anytime you need to. And Raisin's like, what? This dude thinks I'm just like praying to God and being like, yo, connect to me real quick. Yeah, Fortin didn't know Hrathen had a Sion. He simply assumed that the Yorn could pray to Jadeth and that God would direct his words to the Sion, as if Lord Jadeth were a member of the Post. That's pretty funny. I like that a lot. Just let me send a quick prayer up to God real quick.
It is wild to me, like, I don't know, just like, it feels like basically the whole country is just racist and also doesn't understand how anything works. Like, everybody is dumb, but the women especially. Like,
I'm sure it's like the at least religion stuff like this especially. I'm sure this was very accurate to like when the Crusades and stuff were happening, because you just have, they'd show up, take over. You wouldn't really know the religion necessarily.
Yeah, and also you can't read. So it's not like you could learn about it. You only learn about the religion through the pictures that they have in the chapel, and that's it.
So it is kind of goofy, but I mean, it's probably realistic. I didn't live back then, at least not that I can tell you guys, but I'm actually like a couple hundred, 1,000 years old. Yeah, I was living like...
Dang, and you're still this dumb?
Yeah, unfortunately. See, I was smarter, like...
You just keep hitting your head?
I was smarter, like, 50 BHT. And then, like, after, like, around, like, 25 BHT. And then I was, like, kind of losing it. And then, like, 10 years probably, give or take, AFT or AHT. That was when it was kind of... Well, it's before Hawk Tuah and after Hawk Tuah. I kind of messed up the joke a little bit.
I had no idea what you were talking about.
Yeah. BHT and
that
AHT.
Was not worth all that build up. That was
funny.
Not.
Before Hawk Tuah and after Hawk Tuah.
That was such a long joke for somebody.
I definitely got dumber
funny.
after Hawk Tuah. I like how she dropped like a whole crypto scheme, and then everyone was like, "That's a crypto scheme. You suck." And then she just disappeared. And
she just went, "I'm gonna go to bed now."
I have not heard anything about her since, and I have never been happier with it.
Yeah. If only Ellen was here to keep, people like
Yeah. Yeah. That is exactly the kind of person who'd show up on Ellen.
Yeah, they show up on
That
Ellen,
is-
they get like 5 minutes of fame, and then they're just gone to the ether forever.
Dang.
And no one ever talks about them again.
Ellen truly was one of the things of all time.
Yeah. But because I'm getting this,
I'm so happy 9/11 happened.
this isn't an original idea. I'm getting this from a tweet. But because there was also the they took wolves out of Yellowstone and it caused like the ecosystem to start collapsing. So they had to reintroduce the wolves. So I don't know. I think we either be like, Ellen, you can stay, but like be better, or we have to get a new Ellen. Anyway, one of the two, because we have
plenty of new Ellens. Like literally everyone on TikTok now with a podcast. Like Bobby.
No, because it needs to be somebody who like is looked up to, but they're not really that funny. So when people go on there, they get all their funny kind of extracted out of them. Like the kind of thing that none of us would watch, but like our parents might.
So
happen
just
to see.
SNL.
Yeah, we need like a person from SNL to make their own show.
And the
do
Tonight
it
Show with Jimmy Fallon.
No, not quite.
And like every single one of those talk shows that it's like Amy Schumer.
I mean, yeah, but it would need to be.
She doesn't
something
have a
that's,
talk show, I don't think, but she's still not funny.
But it would need to be something specifically that's popular with like older white women.
See, that's the thing.
The
Something
talk shows
like
don't appeal to older white women.
back to the book. No more Kanye West. All right, so chapter 19. This is a Raiden perspective?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's a Raiden perspective. It just starts out weirdly because it's a flashback.
Gross.
Gross. What if instead of Raiden, his name was Gaiden? Yeah, so chapter 19 opens up with a flashback for Raiden, and I feel like Raiden is more bearable in this part, mainly because he's not talking and we're not seeing inside his head.
And because he's in unbearable amounts of pain. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's nice to see him in unbearable amounts of pain.
Yeah. I would put him in even more unbearable amounts of pain if I was in this universe by beating him over the head with a baseball bat. Well, they wouldn't have baseballs. It'd be like a bat of something. I get one of the things that Hunky K uses to cook his hog.
That'd be a lecky stick, bruh.
Oh, nah, bro,
In
no.
my life, bro. In my
Don't
life.
bring that back. Don't bring that
I
back.
don't. I know.
Bro, that's so 2024.
But it's just him getting brought to Elantris because he's broken his leg. He's got a bad infection. And they go, okay, I could fix this. Then they just do magic and it fixes him.
Yeah. There's some interesting stuff about apparently the entire city is just covered in aeons. Like, everything is just aeons. And his father is still suspicious for some reason. It's kind of weird to me that in this chapter, his dad just hates Elantris so much that even when the doctor's like, it's probably too late for your son. We're going to have to cut off his leg. And honestly, it might just be his entire lower half. He might be gone. His dad's still like, I don't know. I don't trust these Elantrians. Like, just super racist for no
Have they
reason.
done anything wrong? Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, so his mom is the one who convinced him to come in here, which I think it mentions that she like dies or she's dead at some point. I don't see it anywhere, but
Because we know she is now.
Raiden was Humpty Dumpty apparently. He'd fallen from someplace high and snapped his leg. So I think that's on him, honestly. Like,
Stupid kid.
Where is it? Yes, they pull up to Elantris. They go to the healer building, and there's a woman in there, and she lays him on the mat, and his bones are like sticking out of his body and stuff. And then we get some interesting stuff about the Aeons actually working this time. It's like a rupture in the air with a deep intensity, is like a river of light trying to force its way through a small crack. The boy could feel the power. He could sense it raging to be free, but only this little was allowed to escape. So it works kind of like a dam as far as like how I can't speak. How it's explained here is that it works kind of like a dam. and the Aeons are like the more or less the floodgate thingies. And then we get some stuff about the healing Aeon, Aeon IN, but it's like super complex. To me, the magic system always came across as like programming, because you've got like the main thing, and then you've got all the like lines and curves and stuff that like expand on that, which is different from like how Mistborn stuff works.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like he learned about like how like traditional Chinese like characters work.
Yeah,
And
that's
he
a
went,
good point, actually. That's a good point. I forgot that was a thing they totally did.
Yeah.
I feel like that was like a Mayan thing too, because they'd have like the circle clocks and stuff that would like spiral outward, and it was like you read it like weirdly.
Yeah, because like for a lot of characters, like it's comprised of base characters that are put together, and then it makes a new meaning.
Yeah.
So it really feels like he just went, oh, language that's different than my language that I speak. Crazy. I must write about this.
I mean, I know he like created a whole language. It's probably based around that, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, and then he opened his eyes and he felt a burning through his torso. And then it burned him, cut him, caused his soul to tremble. And then he kind of freaks out because it doesn't heal and the pain remains, and he's like freaking out and be like, no, something's wrong. And he wakes up and realizes it was all a dream. And that's how the book ends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our favorite ending. Nah, just kidding. Yeah, he wakes up and he like groans and he's like, oh, it's getting worse. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe hard work isn't the answer.
Maybe simply working hard doesn't fix my problems. No.
Yeah.
Just work harder.
Just work harder, bro.
Yeah.
That's how you get more money. That's how you become rich. You just gotta work harder.
Yeah, because it is also so stupid that the working harder, like, because when it describes it for everybody else, it's like, yeah, everyone else is getting along
But not
great.
Raiden.
Everyone's happy.
Just him.
Raidon's not too happy. He's not doing great, but everyone else is doing phenomenal. Everyone's super happy. You just have to work harder. Like it sounds like a rich person writing a book about like, yes, and then all the poor people worked harder and solved their problems.
It sounds like one of those like Instagram like guru courses. They're like, here are the 10 ways to restructure your life or something like that. Oh yeah, Raiden's mother dead some 12 years. Dang, so she had died before like the raid happened. And then where is it? Yeah, we just get a bunch of stuff about how everything's kind of going good for them. They've got like cleaning things so they don't track stuff everywhere through the church or whatever it is that they're using as like a base.
And then Crazy Dude is cleaning things up, and he's like, wow, look at all these carvings in different styles.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he lost his mustache somewhere, the magic mustache. And then a dude just jumps out of nowhere, and Salen's like, my lord, watch out. And the Elantrian like charges in, starts trying to beat him.
And he goes, rawr, give me the corn.
And then Salen does his thing and chops his head off. And then there's a bunch more. And there's like a small battle, but Salen he's just that good. And he just chops them all up. And Shore's men get absolutely cooked, like just embarrassingly so. And Raiden's like, haha, good work.
Good job killing that man. Thank
You did
you.
such a good job putting him into like eternal misery.
And also for those men that aren't dead, for putting them to unbearable pain for the rest of their short lives. Good job.
Yeah, and then they decide, you know what? We can't do this any longer. We need to go deal with Sheor. Which we're not even like halfway through the book, and they've already got rid of like all the gangs but this one. So
And it's like, I sure hope they don't stretch this this one thing out for the rest of the book, but they ran out of things to do.
yeah, and they start pulling up, and they're like, "They're no danger to us now, Selen. Let's put them with the others." And they put them to like, I don't know, just clean stuff, I guess. Where is it? Oh yeah, they take all the crazy people, the Hoed, the ones who are just like absolutely mindless, and stick him in a church and like talk to them and stuff. And this is when Raoden has his moment where he's like, maybe it's not so easy is just hard work because I'm kind of blocking out the pain because I'm going insane a little bit. He realizes he's turning into the Joker. And you got the crazy people muttering about, "Oh, Domi, where are you? Oh, Domi." And they're all moaning and groaning.
Yeah, Raiden
is just yapping this entire time. Oh, okay, gateway timeout.
Yeah, and then he just kind of talks for a while, and he's like, "Hey, I kind of wonder how this works, because they have these instructional books, but they expect us to kind of know about it." He's like, "I don't understand." And then, whatever his friend's name is, because I forget, he's like, "Yeah, I don't know."
Galadon.
Galadon's like, "I don't know, man, I'm just a farmer."
And he's like trying to decipher Andor, but it's so confusing and it's intricate.
He's just like, "Oh yeah, Dor comes from my culture. And Dor just means like kind of like predestined soul thing."
Oh yeah, so he has a whole conversation with Galadon about if only he would explain what it means to channel the door. And then Galadon starts yapping to him about like, "Oh, that's a Duladel term," and Radon realizes like, "Oh wait, this is kind of how the door works." And then he insults his friend again. He's like, "What do the mysteries have to do with?" And Galadon's like, "Bruh, I already told you. That's a different religion. Stop doing that, you idiot." And then, they have a conversation about how the door is like the unseen power in everything, but it cannot be touched. It affects nothing, yet it controls everything. Mm-hmm. Like, it's basically just the Force.
Yeah.
And this kind of... I don't know. I feel like Raiden's, like, his flashback being at the beginning of this chapter makes it way too obvious how the door works, like, off bat. Like, if that flashback had been, like, at the start of the book or something, I feel like it would have worked better. Because once you read the flashback, I'm kind of like, okay, so this is how the door works. And they just had this whole conversation re-explaining the exact same thing you just saw in the flashback.
I really hate, like... because I don't even know if I would call it a trope, but I hate the introduce something and then immediately talk about it, or it immediately comes into play like within the same like chapter or like right afterwards. I hate that. It makes me mad.
Yeah, I very much prefer how things like Mistborn work, where it comes up and then it's not till way later that you realize like, oh, this is what that's.
Yeah, much better. Because then you feel happy, because then you're like, oh, I remembered that. I did a good job.
Yeah.
But like Once Upon a Time is super, super awful because of that. Because like
it'll start in time in Hollywood?
No, Once Upon a Time, the stupid show where it's got like Disney characters, but they lost their memories.
Yeah, I figured you'd watch that.
I watched it not because of me.
Okay. Fair point.
Anyway, and in it there'll be like a flashback where it's like, oh, I found the bring you back to life after you die candle. Oh wow, that's so cool, but we can't use it yet. And then it'll flash, to like present day, and it's like, oh no, they're gonna die. The only thing I can save them is the bring you back to life after you die candle. Oh, I know where that is. And it's just like every single episode, that's basically what happens, where it's like they have a flashback where they find a very specific thing, and then later in the episode they use that very specific thing.
I mean, isn't it a TV show like for kids though?
No, it's meant for like teenagers.
Actually?
Yeah, weirdly enough.
That sounds like...
It's got swearing and mild sexual themes.
What?
Yeah, weirdly enough.
Because that's like some...
It's also like 5 seasons long.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's not good. I hated every moment of it.
Because that really feels like okay, well, they're not old enough to have like object permanence yet, so like just introduce it in the same...
No, it's just badly written. Like...
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I hate that. I hate that so much.
That's why I never watched any of those Disney shows. They were not good. Mm-hmm. So I think that the flashback for this should have been moved to like the front of the book. And later you find out, because it's not like it's a secret that he went into Elantris or anything already.
Yeah, they've already mentioned it.
So there's no point it needed to be, like there's no reason for it to be at the beginning of this chapter and then immediately go into this. But yeah, they kind of just expand on how the door is like sitting behind everything and the Aeon's like the gateway for it to like carefully come out and funnel into a usable form. And I don't know why he didn't think of this sooner also. I don't know why Galadon mentioning that it was a Duladin word had to...
Yeah, because he
anything
clearly
to do
already
with it?
knows about all this stuff. Like,
Like, I can understand kind of forgetting something from, like, your childhood or whatever, but, like, why would your friend be like, oh, yeah, that's a... Like, if you said something, I'm like, oh, that's a French word. Wait a second. I just solved Newton's third law. Like, that wouldn't make any sense. So, I don't know. This part's a little weird. But Raiden makes the connection that that's why we live, because the door somehow like halfway goes through them being the Elantrians and it feeds their body, providing energy to survive, but they don't make it like a full transition. So they can still draw ions, but they don't do anything, and their bodies continue to like work, but they don't restore to full power.
And so he's like, I just gotta open up the cheeks and let this bubble loose.
Yeah, pretty
How do I
much.
do that?
Yeah, and then
How do I open up and see full hole?
and then we get this kind of throwaway line about the important thing is realizing there's a link between ourselves and the door, Galadon. Not only that, but there must be some sort of link between this land and the door. And Galadon's like, why do you say that? Because Eondor is developed in Arlon, nowhere else. The text says that the farther one travels from Elantris, the weaker the Eondor powers become. And only people from Arlon are taken by the Sheod. And then... Yeah, they've never heard of like a Fjordell getting it, so... Let's see. Yeah, so that's weird because that's not really how like Mistborn powers work or anything, where you get farther away and it stops working, and then the chapter kind of just ends. Or actually, they have a really awful line about like Galadon being like, "Hypothesize away, Sewell. I don't see much empirical good to it though." And Raiden's like, "All right, well, I'll stop theorizing as soon as you tell me where a simple farmer learned the word empirical," which. It really feels like that was added there just for that joke.
Yeah.
Because nobody says empirical just in the middle of a line like that. That is not like a natural way of speaking. You know, actually, I'd probably do that now that I think about it.
Yeah, but you don't speak like a normal person.
Yeah, that's true. And then we get chapter 20. And we're back to our favorite character, Princess Serene. Serene. Sarene. It kind of just happens with them being like, wait, you want us to help Iadon? What the heck?
And she's like, guys, all of his ships are getting blown up, so he has no money.
And this is bad because then they'll come in, they'll take over. And I feel like all these characters, once again, we're running into the case of, why is Serene the only smart one?
Yeah.
These are supposed to be like the smartest, wealthiest men in like the country. And they're all just like, why is this a bad thing?
I don't
What
get
is
it.
this?
Wait, remind me about the laws of the country that I live in for my entire life. Remind me, you who hasn't lived here.
Why
It's
is
like,
it
oh
bad?
yes, I forgot. It's like, why is she the one talking to them about it? They should know. They lived here their entire life. They work in the system. Like,
Yeah.
but,
And they keep complaining about like, oh, well, the Fjordell is not like an actual threat. Like, come on. You're telling me that if your country started failing and the other country was slowly like infiltrating your borders and, you know, taking control of your monarchy and all the monarchies around the world, you wouldn't be even slightly worried?
yeah.
Like, they really are just like tunnel-minded for
And then
no
also,
reason.
there's that one line in there where, like, she's the one who had to call the meeting because none of the rest of them could be bothered.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? She has very little to lose here. Like,
Yeah. So
I feel like everyone else should care a little bit more than they do and be a little bit smarter than they are being. Because they're all just dumb. And she's like, we have to give him stuff so he doesn't become... Because he has to keep being the richest, because if he's not, it'll cause chaos. 'Cause that's how the system works, which they should know, because they live there.
Apparently they don't, though. Apparently they're all stupid.
Apparently they just forget sometimes.
Yeah, our special girl Serene is the only one who understands the country she's not even from.
Yeah.
And yeah, so eventually they're complaining about it and they're all, was Drio Crushthroat Sfordish? I heard it's Fjordell. Blah, blah, blah. And they're talking about how, oh, that's not why the ships are sinking. They know that it's Fjordell sinking the ship, so I don't know why they're still arguing about this. Like, she's like, oh yeah, it's the Sfordish. It's Warren. He's trying to, you know, disrupt trade. And they're like, maybe it was that pirate. It was definitely the pirate. We're just going to ignore you. like they really are just not very smart. And then they kind of all just agree that, okay, the only way we can really like do anything about this is to help him out, and we'll do that by selling Tiad a bunch of stuff, and we'll hope that, you know, Iodon is so deal hungry that he'll roll with it. Oh yeah, there's also more throwaway lines about the whole thing she had them doing where it's like, just ask the people to do the stuff and tell them they're free, and that will get like better results. And they're all like, I don't see how it matters whether or not the people think they're free. The same seeds get planted and stuff. And she has to be like, okay, well, just try it. And they're like, oh, I don't understand why people want to be free. Why would that improve their quality of life?
Why would they be
I don't
happier?
get it.
I don't understand. What is this crazy woman reasoning you have?
Yeah, and then she brings up the widow's trial, and she apparently told them about her idea to go into Elantris, but they have to help her, and they're all like, no, there's no way we can do that. Which I feel like at the very least they could just bring like their guards and stuff in. Like it's just a bunch of dudes in there. It's just a bunch of zombies. And then she has to trick them into agreeing where they're like, oh, the king will never let you do that. And she's like, well, if he does, then will you go? And they're like, well, I guess if I have to. And then Hot Stuff Shootin is the first one to be like, I will.
I will.
Everyone loves
I'm
shooting.
the smartest man here, and I'm hot.
Yeah. A real Prince Charming over here. And then everyone else is kind of like, all right. And
All right. Well, if the hot man wants to do it,
I
we'll
guess
do
I
it.
can't be upstaged by Shootin. He's already too hot. We can't give him all of this too, this chivalry. You can't keep getting away with this. And then Serena goes to speak to Idon, and the poor guard is just like, I don't think I'm supposed to let anybody come in. She's like, open the door. Let me in. Let me go talk to the dude while he's working. The guard's like, all right, I guess. And Idon is working in his study. Give this man some credit. He actually does his work. He's like, oh, you weren't content to annoy me in public, so you followed me into my study? If I knew what a foolish, spindly girl you were, I would never have signed that treaty. Like, what? What is wrong with you, dude? And she's like, I'll pretend to be an intelligent human being capable of a semi-lucid conversation. You pretend the same thing. And he uses ragdomy as a swear, which that's kind of funny. I like the ragdomy. And he's like, you tricked me, woman. I could have you beheaded for making me look like a fool. That's a law? You can just behead people for making the king look stupid?
He's the king. He can do what he wants.
I guess, but I feel like that's a weird law. Actually, I'm sure that's probably an already thing.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of what happens in China?
Doc, what would I know?
I don't know. I feel like that's something that happens.
They don't have an emperor anymore. They haven't for a long time.
That guy, the prime minister of China or whatever he's called, it's illegal to draw him as Winnie the Pooh.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, despite the fact that
People
he looks
keep
like
drawing him as
Winnie
Winnie the Pooh, and he gets so angry and
he goes,
outlawed
no, I don't look like that.
He censors it.
bother.
Was that happening a lot or something? Like,
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, people were doing that to protest him because they kept making him mad. He's like, no, stop it.
The funny
okay.
thing is, he does look like Winnie the Pooh.
He really does.
I did not hear anything about that. I was just thinking of like, I don't know. I guess I was thinking of Kim Jong-un, which isn't.
Yeah, different country.
Yeah, that's a different country, but I know. I thought China also had something like that, where if you make fun of like whoever's in charge, then they can just arrest you. But now I'm thinking it's probably a Kim
maybe.
Jong-un thing.
I don't know. I don't know how other countries work. I'm an American.
Well, you would know how that would be if you were black. And they'd be like, you can't make fun of the police. You're going to jail. You fucking monkey.
Dang,
I'm not leaving.
That's definitely not going in there.
No, that part's going in.
Okay.
Except I'm going to preface with Dylan said right before it. And then they're going to edit them together. And they'll be like, Dylan said, you fucking monkey. And right before that, I'll edit in a story about like the time we were hanging out with a black guy. And And you get canceled on Twitter.com.
No, who posted my nudes on Twitter.com?
Yeah, and so Serena's kind of yapping with Idon about, hey, I can give you a deal. You lost most of your fleet. I know all this. It's all over the court. Everyone expects you to fall. Like, come on, roll with me. And she realizes, oh, Idon's paranoid. Like, this dude is just absolutely paranoid, which, I mean, he has secret, like, tunnel things going straight up to his, like, bed chambers, dude.
Like,
You'd think you
paranoid.
Yeah, he'd been paranoid. And so she's like, okay, well, you can sell us silk for whatever reason, and we'll buy it all from you. And, you know, because I'm the daughter of the king, then you can have, like, priority and stuff. And he's like, all right, I guess. And her only, like, thing that she wants in return is to go inside Elantris. And he's like, what?
It's like, what's wrong with you, stupid woman?
Yeah. And she's like, oh, it's religious reasons, father. Shu Korath. I just want to help the Elantrians. And he's like, well, it's forbidden by law. And she's like, well, you made the laws, dog. Like, just change it or something. And he's like, all right.
It is kind of weird that she really wants to go there. Because I know she kind of has to for the plot, I'm assuming, to meet her husband.
She's like...
But, like...
her reasoning is kind of just...
You know, it seems like kind of weak reasoning for, like, in the story, just so that they can get her to where she needs to be for the rest of the story.
Because I know she's trying to do, like, a whole, like, Harathan's making her, or making the Elantrians look evil, so she's trying to do the opposite and be like, these are normal people.
No,
but
like,
I don't see
I feel
how
like she has other things to worry about.
Yeah. And, like, I don't think going in there and handing them food would necessarily, like, that's not going to change public perception all that much.
Yeah.
What, are they going to be, like, lined up along the walls watching her give them food or something? Like,
yeah, she just goes in there and just gets beaten.
She shows up
like, she barely makes it out alive.
She walks in just immediately, yeah!
She walks in, and then she walks in the wrong direction, and then the gang comes and beats her up.
And they just beat her up. And then it's just like she dies there, and then the rest of the book is just Raiden.
Yeah, the rest of the book is just her as she slowly dies.
Yeah. Yeah, the logic is kind of flimsy.
That'd be good. Yeah, and then also, like, at the end, it's like, oh, and then she keeps getting woken up at night by the secret door inside the king's chamber. I wonder what he's doing in there. Ooh.
Yeah, wait, where is it? Because there's something right before that. That was...
Yeah, something about his maids.
Yeah. Where is it? She started talking about it.
Oh, yeah. So the maid who was assigned to Serena's room ran away. And there's been, like, 4 of them at this point. And she's like, oh, that's weird.
So she sends Sion to Ash to go find, like, the head maid or whatever. And at that point, the head maid is like, dang it, I don't know. They just keep leaving. Like, they're indentured, but, like, you know, they live like kings, basically. And no servant in the country is treated better than here. And that's the 4th one. And I find it kind of funny that Serena's like, she's like, I'll send someone up immediately. And Serena's like, no, don't bother tonight. Just make sure it doesn't happen again. Like, it's not her fault. Like, yeah, like what is she supposed to do?
Yeah, Serena's pretty nice and happy and chill. But apparently, when someone messes up their job, she wants them to die.
Yeah. Well,
like, she's just like, don't mess it up again, or I will kill you. Like, just weirdly out of character.
Yeah. Like, is she just rude to all the slaves now for whatever reason?
I don't know, maybe she just doesn't consider, like, people who work in service jobs real people.
I wouldn't be surprised. All of them are racist in some way.
Like she's walking along, she gives a homeless man food, and then she walks in, her food takes slightly too long to come out, and she threatens to kill the person.
See, that's so funny, because this whole chapter was her being like, oh, I just want to help the Elantrians, because poverty and they can't help themselves and stuff. Also her when you know the servants mess up, don't let it happen again. You better not let this happen. I don't let this slide. Like, she'll help, like, beggars and people in poverty, you know, Elantrians. essentially the devils of the country that everyone hates. But
Yeah.
maids who don't do their job, no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Mila leaves and is like, all right. And then, she hears some whacking in the walls. And apparently this happens all the time.
She's like, either the king's whacking off again or there's a secret passage in there. I guess I'll never know because I'm not going to go in there and find out.
Yeah, and she says the sounds always come on the same day of the week. Maydal and Opdal. I think that's how you say it. And Asher Sion is being a little party pooper and is like, you've only heard it twice on Maydal and twice in Opdal. There's hardly grounds for a decision that they always come on the same days. Okay, but they do. So, like, yeah, 2 isn't, like, a lot, but that's still a pretty good, like, start.
Yeah, it's still weird.
Yeah, and then she makes the discovery that, like, wow, look how thick the stone is around this window. Like, does the wall really need to be so thick? We could fit, like, a whole secret passage in here. Like, a really thin one, but a secret passage that leads down to the king's rooms. Dang, we might be onto something. And it's always precisely 11 o'clock on Maydal and Opdal.
Yeah, which, like, they have clocks? Like...
Yeah, they have large grandfather clocks in the corner, apparently. Which there hasn't been a lot of, like, other implications about how technically advanced...
Which, like, that one feels, like, a little bit out of place. Like, maybe the clock workers were just, like, really on it, like...
I guess they have ships and stuff,
like,
so...
Like, the rest of technology is, like, kind of where I expected, but it's, like, clocks. Okay, yeah, I guess. Like...
Did they have clocks
they
around?
They are in, like, a castle.
Yeah.
Like, the king's castle. So it's like, okay, I guess, but I wasn't expecting it. Like, it kind of gave me whiplash when I'm like, 11 o'clock, what?
I'm pretty sure they had, like, grandfather clocks and stuff by the time they had boats. Like, ships, like merchant ships and stuff. I guess it depends on the kind of merchant ship, because it's like a big old, like, galleon thing. Then
I could look it up, but I don't care.
Yeah. Something interesting. And then Ash is like, oh, dear, you're concocting some garbage that I'm going to have to deal with again. She's like, yup, you're going to have to deal with my bull crap. Mm-hmm. All right, now turn on your light. Some of us are trying to go to sleep. Which, why is she so rude to him, like, all the time?
Yeah, she's just weirdly getting rude.
It's because he's a servant.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And then chapter 21. It's probably be the last one for the night. Mm-hmm. So we will also get through this really fast. This is back to Best Boy Hrathen, the OG Hrathen. What if instead of Hrathen, he was called Hagathan, and he, instead of spreading the Derethi word, he spread men's butt cheeks and AIDS.
He can do both.
You're right. He can.
Yeah, whatever the guy who's below him name, like he surely wants to do tricks on it. Like,
oh,
the way
yeah.
He talks.
Yeah,
He's like,
Dilaf. Dilaf wants to do all the tricks on it, bro. Dilaf gets freaky with it.
Please let me hit. Please.
Dilaf can feel the Holy Spirit coming inside him.
Please. Please, it is... What's the god's name?
Domi?
Please, it is Domi's will to let me do tricks on it.
Merciful Domi,
Please.
I'm doing tricks on it. Merciful Domi, Dilaf, you're doing tricks on it. You're gonna make me splurge. So currently, Hrathen, you might be wondering how he got here. Well, Hrathen is trying to find someone to take over all the paperwork of the church. Heaven knows there's a lot of paperwork running a church. I know because I had to run a small section of the church for a while.
Mm-hmm. It's still really funny to, like, when people talk about religion, just be like, oh yeah, I used to be a priest.
Yeah.
Like,
I have to explain that to every single person I tell that to.
Yeah, which,
it's just a confusing thing anyways, though, because priest is, like, a whole thing that people have an idea about. But then, like, you were, like, what was it, 16?
Yeah.
That's when you become a priest. Was it 16 or 18?
No, it's 16.
16, yeah.
16 to 18.
Something like that. Well, no, because what's the one in the middle that has the weird name?
Teacher.
What's the one underneath that? Oh, Deacon. Yeah.
Dog, you were there too.
Mater, that didn't happen, Mater. What are you talking about?
No,
you
was
were there
there
too. It's the Tiananmen Square massacre. I love that
I also love the one where it's just like, wow, Mater, it's great to be back in Radiator Springs. I want you.
I need you. You don't like the way your skin feels on your body? Pull off your skin.
Take it off.
Take it off. And it's the Lightning McQueen shoes sucking toes. Yeah.
Mm.
It's so funny to me that the Cars movies are like, they didn't do like anything crazy at the box office, but they just become such like a staple of pop culture.
Weirdly enough, they just keep making stuff regarding the Cars movies. Like, they just keep making more stuff regarding them.
I mean, that's because all of them have made on average like around 400 million, 300 million, which isn't crazy. Mm-hmm. But in marketing, they've done like, I think it was like 8 billion or something with like sales and stuff. Because you can just make anything, I mean, cars.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you saw the post, but like we have 2 separate occasions where like people saying ka-chow and then flashing their headlights is like, like them like showing a nipple. Like that's the implication. But like
he does. I love being me.
Anyway, but at one point when he addresses the Queen, he goes, "Queen, it's me, Lightning McQueen, ka-chow," and then flashes one of his headlights, which means that Lightning McQueen was in the royal court with the Queen, and then went, "It's me, Lightning McQueen, ka-chow," and then flashed one of his nipples. Like,
to be fair, that's something I feel like several celebrities would do.
You know,
that's like yeah, that's still pretty funny though.
You wouldn't just like flash a nipple to the Queen for funsies, like
it may as well just. Well, I mean, there's only so few chances you're going to get to flash your nipples at the Queen. You know? I mean, like, you gotta strike while you can. Mm-hmm. That's a story for another time. Mm-hmm. If I ever meet the Queen, I'm definitely flashing my nipples.
Sorry, I think it's a little late for that.
What, do they not have another Queen now?
Not at the moment, because Charles was the husband. So until Charles dies, there's not another Queen. Unless he gets remarried, but I don't think he's going to. He's kind of old.
I mean, he's the king. I'm sure you can find someone. Like,
I thought you were gonna say he's the king. I can flash my nipple at him. Like,
sure, I can do that too. You know what? I'm just gonna flash my nipples at all the royal court. In
fact, no more shirts. Like,
I don't discriminate. And then, shoot, where were we? Yeah, so Hrathen's trying to find someone to take over all the paperwork, and everyone's just kind of refusing him because they're like, "Oh, I can't say why, but I'm gonna have to turn you down." And Hrathen's like, "Huh. This is weird. Dilaf has something to do with it." Like, his immediate reaction is just, this is Dilaf. Something is up with Dilaf.
It's like, oh no, everyone said no. I guess I'll have to do it.
Yeah, so he walks in, he's like, "Dilaf, I have an important task for you. Can't trust this to anyone else. Anyone else. You're so special, Dilaf. I need you to take this letter and go far away. Very far away. Leave, Dilaf. Go away."
Yeah.
And Loki kind of... I feel like this is a smart way to get rid of Dilaf, but unfortunately, Dilaf is like 4 steps ahead of him at this point.
Yeah.
And where is it? There's a funny line here. Yeah, he steps out of the chamber, Dilaf's chambers, when he was yakking to Dilaf and telling him to leave. And he's like walking away, like whistling, kicking his feet in the air. Everything's sunshine and daisies. And he hears Dilaf's voice going, "Send out messengers. We leave for Fjorden in the morning." And Hrathen, he nearly kept walking. He almost didn't care what Dilaf was planning or what he did as long as he left. But then he realizes, wait a second. I can't leave this dude alone for like 5 seconds. And he's like, "We? Who is we?" "I heard only you, Artef." And Dilaf's like, "Surely you don't expect me to leave all my Otis behind." I kind of picture Dilaf sometimes as like I don't know if you've seen the original Dune from like the 1900s, but the Baron, like super redhead and like grimy elf looking gross odd dude. I don't know how to describe him. He just looks grimy and like that's kind of how I imagine.
I imagine him more as like a cross between like a twink and like Gollum. Like
Gollum in a maid outfit.
Like I simultaneously imagine him as just like a little twink boy, and then also like a little creature.
Hrathen realizes he's absolutely cooked, and he's like, "Who, Dilaf? Whom did you make your Odiv?" And Dilaf's like, "Several people, my Herodin. Names, Arteth." And then he just begins to name like the entire church pretty much. And then, where is it? Oh yeah, so Dilaf is like 5 steps ahead because all these people probably didn't realize what they were getting into, but they, swore themselves into these positions, so they have to kind of do whatever Dilaf tells them to, and they're outside of Hrathen's command structure because of that. And if Dilaf tries to leave, and they don't want to go with him, and upend their lives to go to Fjorden, then they're excommunicated. Hrathen is forced to excommunicate every single one of them. So all these people that he spent so long getting to like be his biggest followers, he just have to kick all of them out in one go. And Dilaf's just kind of unstable, but he is absolutely cooking. Dilaf has plans on plans on plans. And just like that, Dilaf returned a moment. I like how Hrathen, I like how he immediately realizes like, oh, I'm cooked. And so he's like, wait, Arteth, I changed my mind. And Dilaf's like, my Herodin? I'm already doing tricks on it. Like, I'm just slobbing that knob. I'm polishing that thing. And then he's like, you will not go to Fjorden, Dilaf. And Dilaf's like, but my lord, I'm so sad. And Hrathen's like, no, I cannot do without you. And Dilaf's like, oh, that's just what I wanted to hear.
He's
and
just like,
across the room.
Need you.
I need you.
Anyway, and then they run into
you.
each other's embrace and they start making out sloppy style.
That's kind of where I was expecting us to head it. Because Dilaf's like, I am, as always, my Herodin's humble servant.
And then in Hrathen's head, he's like, he cannot spread lies if he is busy making out with me sloppy style.
Yeah, and then Hrathen...
I have to keep my eye on him and my hand on his ass.
What? And then Hrathen is just, he's so mad, he just leaves because Dilaf has absolutely outthought him and he's kind of over it. And he runs away. And there's like a weird interaction here where he's just walking along in his armor, his blood red armor, and he finds a homeless dude. And the homeless dude's like asking him for money, and we get some weird world building about how the other cities around Elantris are just kind of like derelict and full of beggars and stuff. Which I don't think we ever heard any mention about what happened to those.
I mean, I'm assuming it's because they were next to Elantris that they didn't really have to worry as much about their needs.
Probably.
If something was wrong, they could just go to Elantris and get whatever.
Oh, I guess there's 3, because K isn't the only town. There used to be 4 of them, but the others dried up. Not enough food for so many people in such a small area. Yeah, they probably just were relying on Elantris.
Yeah, which, I mean, that makes sense. They should probably say that, though, instead of just making you guess.
Yeah. I do think it's interesting.
Why is it that he tells us all this useless information about so many things, but this one piece of, like, practical world building?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know, figure it out maybe.
Figure it out yourself. Yeah, and then... I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting because apparently there's just beggar-filled cities around Elantris just chilling that nobody does anything about. And Hrathen's like, okay, well, here's some money, and here's some money for your friend. Good night, old man. And the man's like, thank you, good sir. And Hrathen's like, thank Jadith. Who is Jadith, good sir? And Hrathen's like, you'll know soon enough, old man. One way or another, you'll know. And then he walks off epically into the night, and then the credits come across the screen. And it's like, Hrathen will be back in Elantris 2, Hrathen Boogaloo.
He will return in the movie. Hrathen and Dilaf have gazed at 2 hours.
The Handmaiden's Tale, but it's Hrathen and Dilaf. Yeah, so he has this movie moment walking away, and he walks back up to Elantris, climbs up, and he's kind of walking around hating this whole place and everything, and how it's, I don't know, he's just kind of hating everything. Like, he's pretty angry right now. And then the priest pulls up behind him, and it's just like, it was a good place. It used to be a good place. And Raythan's just like, how did you find me? And he's like, dude, you come here like every single night since you've been here. Like everybody knows. This isn't exactly a secret. And I like this interaction between the old priest dude and Raythan a lot. I think it does a lot of characterization for Raythan. Because Omen is like a direct foil. Father Omen is like a direct foil to Raythan in that, I mean, he kind of sums it up towards the end of this conversation. I'm not going to go through all of it, but he's kind of pushing against him on like, why don't you believe? Why do you believe what you believe? Why are you following these things that you don't believe? And then after they kind of argue for a while, Omen is like, no, I came to ask you a question, then ask priest and leave me with my thoughts. I want to know what happened. What happened to Raythan? What happened to your faith? And Raythan's like, my faith. He's like, yeah, you may have believed at one point, otherwise you wouldn't have pursued the priesthood long enough to become a Gorn, but you lost it somewhere though. Logic and complete understanding, determination. I just don't hear any faith and I wonder what happened to it. And that really like kicks Raythan in the balls. And he just says, go. And then the priest is already gone at that point, and Raythan's like just standing there on the wall on his own. I really like that section, that like ending section, because I feel like Raythan is the only character in this book so far that has like multiple dimensions. Because Raiden and Serene are both kind of not one-dimensional necessarily, but there's nothing.
There's nothing going on behind those
There's
eyes.
nothing going on behind them. There's no inner struggle really, other than, I don't know, Raiden being like, it's not actually working. I'm still hungry.
Yeah, just Raiden is instantly successful at everything.
And then Serene is just, I'm so smart and I have to
She's
deal with all these
so much
stupid
smarter
people.
than everybody else. Like, just an absolute genius, and everyone's like a moron.
Yeah. And that kind of frees up Raythan to be the character that has some depth behind him. And I like that you learn more about this, especially when it has to do with religion stuff. It slightly reminds me of Sazed. Sazed is a little bit more like, because I don't think Sazed at any point like believed necessarily the religions that he was carrying around. But he believed that they like meant something and stuff. So it's kind of different. And I don't know. I think Raythan's pretty relatable just because I personally have felt like a lot of that kind of similar stuff with religion and preaching because of.
He is in kind of a funny situation though. Because like it's not that he like likes this religion and believes in it. He's like, oh yes, this is true. I know like that this is true because I have like God talks to me.
Yeah.
Like, and God said that he's going to kill everyone if they don't. So, like, I kind of have to. Like
I
it's
don't
not
really have a
of
choice.
faith. Like, for him, it's not even a matter of faith. Like, he knows.
But he also can't tell anybody that and just be like, yo, I was literally talking to God the other day. Like, you guys are cooked.
God is real. I could show it, which also, like, now that I'm thinking about it, this kind of feels like a Joseph Smith analog. Like,
yeah, where he's like I could show you.
I have the golden books, and everyone's like, "Well, could we see them?" And he's like, "No." Well, why not? God said no.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry guys. What am I gonna do? Disagree with God? I think not. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I just think Raythan's character is interesting, and especially this conversation, a lot of it really digs into like, why are you doing this if you don't necessarily believe this? And him being like, well, I have to because I've literally seen God. I don't have a choice. Yeah. And he's like, okay, well, then at what point does it stop being about faith and about being, you know, like, I have to do what I have to do? Mm-hmm. And at what point does that bleed into like morally, what am I okay with? Because obviously he feels bad about the stuff he's already done. Yeah. So I don't know. I like Raythan's character a lot.
It does make for a very interesting, like, religious kind of guy where he's religious, but he's not happy about it. But he's like, what am I going to do? Deny, you know, the things that I've literally seen.
Yeah.
You know? He's like, 'cause it's not that I believe it. It's that I don't have a choice in the matter.
Especially because I think they mentioned there's only like 7 Gjorns or something. So he's literally like one of the highest ranking people in basically the entire world.
Yeah.
Considering they're pretty much everywhere other than this area and Tiad are under their religion. And he's not actually like into his religion all that much.
Yeah. Which it's a very interesting setup for a character.
Yeah.
Like,
especially with Deloff as a foil, just the over the top, completely in love with everything, and him being kind of like jealous of that and being like, dang, I wish I could have like any amount of that like passion for the thing that I am literally in charge of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like his character a lot. I can see where characters like Sazed came out of this too.
I would like it instead if this book was just kind of about Harithan for the most part. Like much more about him, because he's just a lot more interesting than any of the other characters.
Yeah.
Like, the rest of the characters I just don't care about. They're just so one-dimensional and boring.
Honestly, up to this point, I feel like you could remove a lot of Raiden's parts and it wouldn't change that much
The thing
because
that
it's
makes
so
me
removed.
kind of annoyed is so much of Raiden's stuff is just talk no jutsu. Like these people are like comically evil, and he's like, but wait, what if you didn't? And they're like, whoa, I never thought about that.
And like not much that Raiden has said or done has had any impact on, like, at least with Serene's, I can understand because it's like directly tied in with Hrathen's story.
But I would have just liked it if like all the if Serene and Raiden were just side characters in Hrathen's book instead.
Yeah.
Like, because they're just boring.
Yeah, they're very one-dimensional-ish, and they don't really have a lot of redeeming qualities, for me at least.
I mean, they're not like bad people, but like they're not interesting people either.
Yeah. It's kind of Luke Skywalker syndrome, where if you go back and watch the original Star Wars, you're like, dang, he really just is like that guy.
He's just the special boy.
He's just a special boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but...
Because I think we've said it before, Raiden is just, he's a very special boy.
It's a very
special boy.
special
No one else
boy.
has ever been able to do this, but he can't, because he's a very special boy.
And Serene is a very special girl, and nobody else is smart except for her. Yeah, so that's the end of chapter 1. Hrathen kind of just... Or not...
Oh, that was a long chapter.
Chapter 21.
21?
21. Patrick took a nap.
Yeah.
And
nothing to add.
I think we're gonna end it there, and next time we'll do 22 to like 25.
Yeah, sure.
3 chapter chunk.
I don't know. I'm gonna see how much more I can read because I don't have school right now.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, that's everything. Where do you think it's going from here?
Up your butt.
Yeah, I have to agree with Patrick.
That is exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, so next time, chapters 22 to 25 or 22 to 27, we'll see what we actually read. But yeah, that's Baja Talks Books. See you guys next time.
Among Us! Oh!